Hi, welcome to episode 332 of your favorite daily podcast, A Couple of Things, a podcast about things. On today's episode, I'm just going to talk about some recent things that have been happening in my life. So, as you know, I've been baking for fun. It started with banana bread. I think I've talked about the story of how I started baking on the podcast, but here's a quick recap. My own started long after COVID, after lockdowns and everything ended. I had bananas that were about to go bad. I decided to bake banana bread. There was a flour shortage. I looked everywhere for flour. I finally found flour and I made banana bread. Obviously, I had leftover flour and butter and things, so I just kept baking from there. And that's how we got to where we are today. Now, a couple of months ago, my friend asked me to bake a cake for her husband's birthday. And this is a frosted cake with not just frosting, but with like decoration on it. I have never done this before. And I have done frosting once. My first attempt at frosting was for my church's Christmas bake off in, was it 2022? Yeah, I think so. My frosting was terrible. The cake was delicious. It was really good. But the frosting was a disaster. It was terrible. It was not okay. It wasn't that bad, to be honest, but it wasn't good. And also, I've sucked at making buttercream frosting. My buttercream the butter never becomes like soft enough to or smooth enough to just like spread on the cake and frost the cake. And so I mostly just make cream cheese frosting because that I'm comfortable with. That almost always turns out well for me. So since my friend asked me to make her husband's birthday cake, I've been finding opportunities to bake and frost cakes. And I've been doing cream cheese frosting only. Also, I needed to be able to have two different colors of frosting, one for the actual cake and one for the decoration to show. And I have never done all of these things before. I didn't have the chance to, practice some of them. And the last cake I baked, actually, I tried to use like edible markers to create the decoration, so I wouldn't have to buy like what's that thing called? Food coloring for the frosting. But I put it in my cake box, and the food coloring thing melted on the cake. The numbers were not visible. The lines were weird looking, so I was like, that's not going to work. And when I googled it was really hard to find the problem, but the assumption I have is because I put it in an airtight container, and those edible markers need to be not in an airtight container. They need air, basically, unlike your regular buttercream that can be sealed in an airtight container. So now the time had come to make this cake, and while I went through a lot, you guys. Since I've been making cake, my cake has never split in half. Well, it didn't split in a full half. It just splits like maybe to the middle. But because I made two layers. The first layer I had some issues, but it was fine. The second layer, when I was opening the springform pan, the clasp, as I opened the clasp and it separated, the cake also separated with it. I just closed it back. I had left it because I was like, I cannot do this right now. But when I woke up the next morning, I joined back together. It was fine. You could still see the crack, but it wasn't bad. It could hold together and it could stand to stack on the cake. Then when I was stacking it, I saw that for some reason one cake was very slightly bigger than the other one, just like less than a centimeter. Which is strange because I use the exact same, literally the same pan for the both of them. And I've never had that issue with stacking because I've been baking multiple layers for like the last couple of cakes I've baked, just to practice it, stacking the cake. And I've never had that issue. So like lots of things were wrong with this in the process of baking this cake, but I was able to carve out the extra space and cover it with frosting and everything. You guys, this was an experience. Now it came to decorating the cake. So first of all, the best thing that happened from this experience is I finally cracked buttercream frosting. Finally figured out why my buttercream was not buttercreaming before. It's because I was not mixing it at high speed. So here's a tip for you if you are struggling with buttercream. Mix your butter, put the butter in the mixer, whether you're using your hand mixer or stand mixer. I only have a hand mixer. So put it on the highest speed That's how it becomes really smooth and fluffy and not hard. And also make sure that you're using room temperature butter. If you use cold butter, it will not work. You will just be disturbing yourself there. So use room temperature butter and put your mixer on the highest speed to soften the to make the butter smooth, and then also do it for a while. I was also doing like short bursts, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. But yesterday, 2 days ago, when I was doing this cake, I did it on like for like a minute at a time on the highest speed, and then the butter became really soft, and then I added sugar and everything. Anyway, this cake really tested my inventiveness and ability to, what's the word? No, improvise. Why did I almost said compromise? To improvise. Because when I was thinking deeply about like how would I do this first time, because I didn't want to take the risk with the edible marker thing, and that having the colors melt and everything. So I had an idea, because the cake, one layer was Biscoff and the other layer was vanilla. And so I had an idea that, oh, maybe I should do Biscoff buttercream, because the addition of the Biscoff to the buttercream will make the color a bit brown, right? And then I can use the regular white buttercream for the design and the decoration. And so that is what I did. And you guys, the buttercream was so delicious. Oh my God, it was so good. I have leftover, so I'm going to use it to make cupcakes. I'm going to, not the buttercream, obviously. I'm going to make cupcakes and use the buttercream to frost the cupcakes, because I've actually never made cupcakes. I don't think I've made cupcakes since I started baking. So, and I do have a cupcake pan, but I never used it. So I'm going to make cupcakes and try and make like a pull apart cupcake that is made into a shape. Because now I just feel like challenging myself to do things. This cake was an effort. So anyway, my buttercream was delicious. It was smooth. It was piping well. It was, it was just doing what it was supposed to do. Now came time to decorate. I watched maybe like at least 5 hours of cake decorating videos on YouTube, by the way. At the very least, in the past week, I've watched at least 5 hours of cake decorating videos to understand how to decorate the cake, so that everything is fine and nothing is weird and nothing falls and all of that. So I did all the things. Now time to decorate. I took a whole baking sheet and used it to practice the design I wanted to do. The first part of drawing the circle and line was very easy. Also, the design is that image of like a stick figure kicking another stick figure over a cliff, and then the new edge is on the standing stick figure and the old edge is on the falling stick figure. So the circle border part was easy, and then the drawing the cliff was easy. But you see, drawing those stick figures and the number on top, oh my God. Even after practicing on a whole baking sheet, like your standard size baking sheet, I still had to remove it from the what's the word, from the frosting base, from the, when I did the biscuit frosting so many times, which is really good, which is a great thing that I watched a lot of videos, because if I didn't watch the videos, I would not have known that before you do the decoration that you want to do on top of the cake, you should chill the cake so that the buttercream that you have applied will be solid, and you can, if you make mistakes, you can easily swipe it off without removing buttercream from the cake. So anyway, this was a great experience for me. I'm very excited by the fact that I actually baked a whole cake for someone else and did to the design and specification that they wanted. My friend was so happy with it when she saw it. She was she was so happy with it, and the cake tasted really good. I guess she hasn't told me how it tasted, but I imagine it tasted really good. And I was like, oh, this is the first time I'm baking a cake that I will not taste. So that was interesting. But anyway, I was very happy with the whole thing. And now I want to challenge myself to do more things with decorating, with different styles of baking, doing new things with baking. Maybe I'll even open bakery. Not like a whole bakery yet, but like basically baking business. Who knows the opportunity. I know, like a few episodes back I said I'm not doing it, but you guys, what I did with this cake has shown me great possibilities, and so maybe I will actually do it. I don't know, let's see how it goes. I'm really, really excited. I've never made fruit cake before, but it's almost Christmas and apparently that's the thing that people like, so I'm going to try that out as well. And definitely I will be keeping you guys updated on my baking adventures and also the misadventures. All right, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Bye. Wait, I feel like I need to do that whole this is what I learned from this experience thing. So let me just quickly say one or two things. First thing is that you can read and read and watch and learn, but until you actually do the thing, you're not going to do it. Like, you're not going to know if you can actually do it. And also, practice makes better. Maybe not perfect, but better. Because it took me so many tries to actually do the stick figures and the numbers properly, and it was quite frustrating, but eventually I got it, and it was so exciting when I did it. So yeah, if you suck at something, and I talked about on a previous episode a long time ago that sucking at something is the first step to becoming good at the thing. So you just, sometimes you suck the first time you do something, or even the 10th time, but eventually you get better at it. So keep going, keep sticking it out, especially if it's something that you enjoy doing and you actually want to keep doing that. And yeah, that's really it. Bye. Thank you for listening to today's episode of A Couple of Things. If there was anything you found interesting or insightful, or you enjoyed the episode, please do share to someone or multiple people. Like, leave a comment, and definitely do subscribe and all the nice things. Bye.